सर्वं ब्रह्ममयम् सर्वं ब्रह्ममयम् सर्वं ब्रह्ममयम् रे 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 सर्वं ब्रह्ममयम् सर्वं ब्रह्ममयम् सर्वं ब्रह्ममयम् रे 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 सर्वं ब्रह्ममयम् सत्
Namaskaram, sir.
Namaskaram. Yeah. Audio is clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, we'll start. Om Sri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om. Om Sadashiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Padarayanam Sutrabhashya Kritau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnur Gurur Devo Maheshwarah Guru Sakshat Param Brahma Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kamsa Chanura Mardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum Sarva Samshayacchetaram Satchidananda Vigraham Sada Susmera Vadanam Balakrishnam Namamyaham Vidyaranyad Vaidyad Vyadheriva Bhavasya Hi Vinutyai Pathyanyasvadyantam Panchadasi Prakaranani Bhakshyani Om. Good morning and Namaskaram to all. So we have been discussing Panchadasi. In that we completed the first Prakaranam. There are 15 chapters. In that the first one is Thatwa Viveka Prakaranam, or it is also called Pratyak Thatwa Viveka Prakaranam, that we completed. So today we will be doing the summary of the first chapter. So in this first chapter there are 65 verses we covered, and we can divide the 65 verses as 5 parts: introduction, second one Vedanta Saram, third is the samsara karanam, the fourth means of moksha, moksha margam, and the fifth one, conclusion, upasamharaha. So upodghataha means introduction, then the essence of Vedanta, Vedanta saram, then the samsara karanam, the cause of samsara. Fourth one is the means of moksha, moksha margam, which is 31st to 64th verse. The upodghadam is 1 to 2, 2 verses. 3 to 10 is the Vedanta saram. 11 to 30 is the cause of samsara. 31 to 64 is the moksha margam. And the 65th verse is the upasamharam, or the conclusion. So in the introduction, Vidyaranya Swami first offered his namaskaram to his guru, Sri Shankarananda, and he also introduced the subject, the Thatwa Vivekam, that is a subject, and this Thatwa Viveka Prakaranam is for the easy understanding, of the Tattvam. I am going to give you this Thatwa Viveka Prakaranam. This is what Vidyaranya Swami said in the first and second verses. And from the third verse to 10th verse, Vidyaranya Swami explained Vidyaranya Swami explained about the Jivatma Paramatma Aikyam, the essence of Vedanta, which is the Jivatma Paramatma Aikyam. Jivatma is Atma, Paramatma or Ishvara is also Atma, and both are essentially same. Both are essentially the same Atma, Satchidananda Swarupa Atma. So then, for this, Swami explained the taking the experiences of us, our real day-to-day experiences. Every experience has two portions. One is the consciousness part, which is the bodham. We are conscious, all of us are conscious. So that consciousness is the constant part, which is not changing at all. And the second part of our experience is the thought part, right? The vikshepam, the thought, that which changes from one thought to another. So all our experiences can be divided into two: the consciousness part, which is called the Chaitanyam part. The second is the vritti, right? Vritti, the thought, that which is constantly changing, which is not permanent, which goes on changing every moment, right? So that the plurality happens in the thought part. So these two together, we call it as experiences. These two must be there. So in that, the part which is constant, which doesn't change, which doesn't vary, is called the consciousness or bodham. Like suppose you take a garland, okay, the beads are many, plenty, but the thread which is going through all the beads is the thread. Sutre Manigana iva. Bhagavad Gita says it is like a sutram, the thread. Manigana iva, in a Manimala, which is going through all the beads. Right? That is constant, that is same, and that is only one. Whereas the upadhis are many, it is plural, plurality, right? Which is changing. Whereas the sutram, the consciousness part, is only one. And this experience have waking experience, we have the deep sleep experience, and also the dream experiences, the three avasthas in a day. And the same experience goes on every day, and the same goes for months, years, decades, etc. And it is eternal, right? So in this plurality of experiences, days, months, years, and etc., kalpam, yugam, all that, what is unchanged, which is unchanged, is the consciousness, the chit. Because it is eternal, because of this consciousness part of this experience is eternal, it is called Sat. Right? So the consciousness is the chit. That consciousness is eternal, which is there yesterday, which is there today, which will be there tomorrow. Or the consciousness is eternal, right, which is never born, which never dies. Hence, it is called a Sat. So that is how, which is called, it is eternal consciousness, Sat Chit. Right? So the differences belongs to the thoughts, minds, bodies, right? Like the containers are different, right? The body is the container, the mind is a container. These are different, but the content is same. The consciousness is same. That unlimited Atma, that unlimited consciousness is called Paramatma, right? So the Jivatma is the limitation from the container. The Jivatma has got the limitation. What is the limitation? The limitation of the container or the thoughts or thoughts of the experience. The consciousness part is unlimited and it is eternal, right? So this is explained in the verses from 3 to 10. So in this, the Jivatma, the consciousness plus the limitation of the container, whereas Paramatma is the consciousness or the Brahman, and which is eternal, is called Paramatma. Paramatma also is consciousness. Jivatma also is consciousness. Hence, Jivatma and Paramatma are in essence same. This Aikyam is explained in verses from 3 to 10. Then, to reveal the Ananda Swarupam, since it is eternal, which is never born, which never dies, okay, this brings Ananda, right? Anything that is limited is not Ananda at all. And then another way to reveal the Ananda Swarupam, Vidyaranya Swami put another logic. It is worth remembering, because we love ourselves the maximum. we love ourselves, because when we love ourselves, then that self has to be Ananda Swarupam, because no one can love the self if the self is Dukkha Swarupam. The source of Ananda must be there in the self. That is the only reason we all love ourselves. So, and this way also, the Atma is Ananda Swarupam. Nobody loves the source which is Dukkham. So everyone loves the source which is Ananda. Hence, our true nature is Sat Chit Ananda. Satchidananda Swarupam. All these Vidyaranya Swami beautifully explained from the words 3 to 10. Okay. So we have gone through all that in detail in the last previous so many classes. So it is there put in YouTube as audio. We can all listen to that to refresh our memory. Then coming to the third part. Third part is, what is the cause of samsara? Samsara Karanam. Yeah. Samsara Karanam, Vidyaranya Swami introduced the topic of Prakriti. The basic matter principle, the inert matter is Prakriti, which is mainly divided into three. Okay, I hope we all remember all that. Sattva Pradhana Prakriti, where the Sattva Gunam is predominant, other two are very minimum. Then the Rajapradhana Prakriti, where the Rajogunam is maximum and the Sattvam and Tamogunam is bare minimum. Then the third is Tamah Pradhana Prakriti, where the Tamogunam is maximum, the Sattvam and Rajas are bare minimum. They exist other than the consciousness principle, which is Brahman. So, the Brahman and the threefold Prakriti. Vidyaranya Swami introduced the Prakriti, which is Maya, which has got three: Sattva Pradhana Prakriti, Rajoguna Pradhana Prakriti, and Tamah Pradhana Prakriti. Here, the consciousness Brahman, which is associated with Sattva Pradhana Prakriti and Tamah Pradhana Prakriti, we call it Ishvara. So, Ishvara is equal to Brahman, the pure consciousness, plus Sattva Pradhana Prakriti and Tamah Pradhana Prakriti. So in this, the Ishvara is the material cause as well as the intelligent cause. The Nimitta Karanam and Upadana Karanam of this universe. Ishvara is the Karanam of this universe, or Ishvara is the Nimitta Karanam, the intelligence cause. Like the potter, to make a pot, we need the clay, we also need the potter. The intelligence of the potter is required, right? So the potter should have the intelligence to make a pot. That intelligence cause is the Sattva Pradhana Prakriti, knowledge, right? The knowledge to create this universe is the Sattva Pradhana Prakriti of Brahman, or Sattva Pradhana Prakriti plus Brahman is the Nimitta Karanam, and Tamah Pradhana Prakriti, the clay. For in a pot, in the case of a pot, similarly, the Tamah Pradhana Prakriti plus Brahman is the Upadana Karanam, material cause of this universe. Since Ishvara is Sattva Pradhanam, because of that Ishvara is Sarvajnaha and also Sarvashaktaha, and he is Sarvavyapi. Right? So because of this Sattva Pradhana Prakriti and Tamah Pradhana Prakriti plus Brahman, who is Ishvara, hence Ishvara is Sarvajnaha, Sarvashaktaha and Sarvavyapi. Then Vidyaranya Swami explains in detail about the Srishti. He created the universe, right? Created the universe with the 5 subtle elements, the Panchabhutas, Akasham, Vayu, Agni, Apaha, Prithvi, etc. And from these 5 big elements, which gunas are created, Jnanendriyas are created, Karmendriyas are created, Andhakaranam, Prana, right? So all of this are explained in detail in the verses from 11 to 30, right? So I am not explaining here now because this is only a summary. So please go back to the earlier classes which is there available in the YouTube audio. Please listen to that. We have explained in detail and I hope we all remember it. Then, now Ishvara is ready, creation is ready, right? Jnanendriyas, Karmendriyas are ready, right? All the Panchabhutas, etc. Sukshma Shariram is ready, the Sthula Shariram is ready, all that is, all the creation, everything is ready. Now, what we need is only the Jiva, the Jivas, right? So, who is a Jiva? Jiva is the consciousness principle with Rajoguna Pradhana Prakriti, right? The Rajoguna Pradhana Prakriti, when associated with consciousness, that becomes Jiva. So the Jivas are many because of the varieties. Because what is Rajoguna Pradhana Prakriti? We already said the urge to do karma, right? I have to do karma. And what is the reason to do karma? Desires, right? Acquiring something. I have to acquire something. So this is the Rajoguna Pradhana Prakriti. Because of this, what is the cause of even the desires? We already explained the desire is because of avidya. Don't know that I am Satchidananda Swarupa. My true nature is Ananda. This is not known because of this avidya, kama, karma. Because of this avidya, desires are created. Because of these desires, karma. This is the Rajoguna Pradhana Prakriti. So consciousness with Rajoguna Pradhana Prakriti, because of this Rajoguna Pradhanam, these Jivas are in trouble. So the Jivas, the problems of the Jivas is all because of the Rajoguna Pradhana Prakriti. And for this, the materials, the creation is ready, right? Ishvara has created so many varieties of vastus here, bhogya vastus here, so that these jivas can enjoy. because of the rajogunam of this jivas, they get into a trouble of acquiring things for happiness, and because of this they get into the trouble of sufferings. Okay, so whereas there is no problem with God, because Bhagavan has sattva pradhana prakriti. Because of that, Bhagavan is sarvajnaha. Right? Sarvajnaha, there is no problem because he knows everything. Whereas if it is only tamoguna pradhanam, if it is tamoguna pradhanam, like the inert objects like the table, etc., there is no problem because there is no total ignorance is there. Total ignorance. So in total ignorance also there is no problem. Whereas in between rajogunam, what is that? Sattva pradhanam is purely Ishvara knows who I am. Right? Ishvara knows aham brahmasmi. Right? Brahman, very clear. Sarvajnaha. Whereas tamoguna pradhanam, there is no doubt only. Right? Whereas the rajoguna pradhana prakriti, the jivas, they know I am, but they don't know that I am Brahman. Okay? The knowledge is in between, neither here nor there. Like we say half knowledge is dangerous, here also half knowledge for the jivas is dangerous. Because of that, the jivas are in trouble. Partial knowledge, partial ignorance. I know I am, but I don't know I am Brahman. Because of this issue, jiva gets into the trap of the worldly creations. Either the jiva develops a raga, attachment, or dvesha, aversion. So because of this raga and dvesha, either way, whether it is, even if it is raga, they are trapped. If it is dvesha, they are trapped. If it is raga, the jivas run after the objects. When it is dvesham, the jivas run away from objects and situations. Either way, the common thing, whether you run after them or you run away from them, running is common. Right? The suffering is there. Suffering is inevitable so long as there is raga and dvesha. Because of this running, the journey never ends. It continues from Janma to next Janma. So in between, death has to be there. So Jananam, Maranam, Jananam, Maranam. This is what Shankaracharya said. Punarapi Jananam, Punarapi Maranam, Punarapi Janani Jadhare Shayanam. So thus, the travel, right, the journey never ends, and this is the cause of samsaram, avidya, which is because of the rajapradhana prakriti, half knowledge. Right? Half knowledge, half ignorance is the cause of the samsaram. This is what Vidyaranya Swami explained from the verse 11 to 30. So because of this, then what is the root cause of this rajogunam? Why we are running after or running away? Because by acquiring something, we feel that, we think that we will be happy. Or by avoiding certain situations and certain objects, we think we will be happy. Because of this raga and dvesha, Because of this, why do we do this? Because we don't know that our true nature is Ananda. Without doing any karma, without acquiring anything, I am happy. I don't need anything, any external objects, any worldly objects, including this body. I am happy because my true nature is Sat Chit Ananda. I am not this body. I am not this mind. I am not this that I see around with my sense organs, right? Including this body. All of this are temporary, perishable, whereas I am imperishable, eternal consciousness. The true nature is Ananda Swarupam. It is. This knowledge is lacking, right? Because of this lack of this knowledge, because of this, that Aham Brahmasmi is not there, I run after or run away from the objects of this world. This is the samsara karanam. So much Vidyaranya Swami explained from 11 to 30. Now the fourth portion is the moksha margam, the means of moksha, which from 31st to 64 elaborately Vidyaranya Swami explained the most important portion of the Thatwa Viveka Prakaranam. Then what he says, the first part, we should have done sufficient punya karma, sufficient punyam to develop a desire for moksha. Suppose someone says that I am comfortable, I don't want any moksha, right? Then like a worm, nobody can help such a jiva. Only the jiva should think that I am suffering and there is a way out. Only those who knows that I am in trouble and I need rescue, only then somebody can help jivas. There are so many in the world who have they think that this is life, right? Suffering is normal, and not only that, I am not suffering at all. This is because that whatever suffering one goes through is normal, and they compare with each other and find peace. Okay, but when time progresses, when old age comes, then when disease comes, the knowledge that I am not this body is not there. Because of that, the suffering starts, serious suffering starts. And of course, other times also they suffer. If at all they feel they don't suffer, but when the knowledge that I am not this body is not there, the lack of this knowledge will definitely end such jivas also into great trouble. Life will be miserable. So, this is why this is happening. It is because of lack of punya, lack of punya karma. One should know that I am helplessly caught in this samsara dukkham, and that individual should have sufficient sat karma, good karmas, helping others, doing charity, all that punya karmas, sharing wealth, okay, all that will lead to acquire punyam, to realize that I am suffering. In Aparoksha Anubhuti, there is a verse, Swavarnasrama dharmena tapasa haritoshanam sadhanam prabhavet pumsam vairagyadi chatushtayam. So one should acquire sadhana chatushtaya sampatti by performing own duties, see, swavarna ashrama dharmena. Then tapasa, one should acquire, develop ekagrata of the mind. Then haritoshanam, by praising the Lord, right? One must please the Hari, the Bhagavan who is dwelling in everyone, right? Bhagavan dwells in everyone, that Hari Toshanam, by praising them, must please the Hari who is dwelling in everyone, and dedicating all karmas as an offering to that Hari, okay? Leading a karma yoga life. Leading a life of karma yoga, then only there will be a possibility of listening to Vedanta. It will lead to Sravanam of Vedanta through Bhagavad Gita, Upanishads, other Prakarana Granthas or Srimad Bhagavatam, etc. Right? All these Puranas, or through Gita or through Upanishads, etc., one will be eligible to listen to Vedanta, which we call as Sravanam. That itself is a big step towards moksham. Then, even after developing the intention, even after developing the urge to listen to Vedanta, one should get a guru. So it is very difficult to find the right guru. So what everyone can do is only pray to God. Pray to Bhagavan that please give me the right guru, and definitely each one will find a guru, right? And what is the indication of a Sadguru? Is that the Acharya should be teaching systematically. The systematic teaching, right? Then see, in Karmakanda Upadesha is there. So Karmakanda Upadesham is called an initiation of a mantra. Right? Initiation of a mantra. That is in Karmakanda. But in Jnanakandam, Upadesha means teachings of the Mahavakyam. What is Mahavakyam? Mahavakyam is where the message of Jivatma Paramatma Aikya Bodhaka Vakyam. Jivatma Paramatma Aikyam, where it is mentioned, the message is there. In those Vakyas, they are called Mahavakyas. Like the most famous is Tattvamasi, right? Then Aham Brahmasmi, Ayamatma Brahma, Prajnanam Brahma. There are other Mahavakyas also, Sarvam Khalvidam Brahma, Ekameva Advitiyam, right? So these are the Mahavakyas. In these Vakyas, Jivatma Paramatma Aikyam message is there. Then, here in this, Vidyaranya Swami explained about Tattvamasi. To understand Tvam Vakyam, Vidyaranya Swami has used the Panchakosha Vivekam. Right? You are not Annamaya Kosha, you are not Pranamaya Kosha, you are not Manomaya Kosham, you are not Vijnanamaya Kosham, you are not even Anandamaya Kosham. You are that Atma which is Satchidananda Swarupam, etc. This Panchakosha Vilakshana Chaitanyam you are that Brahman. This is what Vidyaranya Swami explained with the word Tvam. Then Tvam means the Chaitanyam explained. Right? So then Vidyaranya Swami also, as we discussed earlier, the Rajapradhana Prakriti is only the container. The container is this: Annamaya, Pranamaya, Manomaya, Vijnanamaya, Anandamaya, Koshas. They are all containers, whereas it is not me. The original me is Satchidananda Chaitanyam. That is the meaning of Tvam, Vidyaranya Swami explained. Then Tatpada Vicharam, Ishvara. Right? Ishvara, already we said earlier, it is the pure consciousness plus Sattva Pradhana Prakriti plus Tama Pradhana Prakriti. He is a great creator. So, then Vidyaranya Swami explained about Bhagatyaga Lakshanam. So please again go back to the audios and listen to the talks about Bhagatyaga Lakshanam, etc., where you leave out the Sattva Pradhana Prakriti and Tama Pradhana Prakriti, which are incidental Vesham. It is the coat, right? The coat. This process, analyzing the Ishvara as consciousness plus Sattva Pradhana Prakriti plus Tamo Pradhana Prakriti, in that the Sattva Pradhanam and Tama Pradhanam is removed by intellectually. Intellectually, you understand that these are the only codes, whereas the Tat Padam means it is the pure consciousness. So arrive at one consciousness, which is not the Karana Ishvara. Karana Ishvara here means what? The Nimitta Upadana Karanam. Right? That Karana side is removed and the Karya Jiva. The Karya Jiva is Rajapradhana Prakriti plus consciousness is the Jiva, where you, through the Bhagatyaga Lakshanam, through that analysis, you remove the Rajapradhana Prakriti and you realize that the Jiva is consciousness, Ishvara also is consciousness, and hence Jivatma is Paramatma. By that, the only consciousness alone exists. This consciousness is Brahman, which is Bhagavan, right? Who is dwelling in every one of us as pure Chaitanyam, and that Chaitanyam alone is the truth, that Chaitanyam alone is eternal, and that alone is what you are, Tattvamasi, right? So, Karya Karana Vilakshana Chaitanyam. When this teaching is giving, this is the teaching of Tattvamasi. And when the Guru says Tattvamasi, the Shishya, the disciple receives it as Aham Brahmasmi. So this is the first level of Moksha Margam. This is called Sravanam. So we know that it is Sravana, Manana, Nididhyasana. The process is Sravanam, then Mananam. Because when we listen to the Vedanta again and again, when we listen, it produces several doubts in our minds. These doubts are cleared through proper yukti, logical analysis, reasoning, through discussions with the Acharya, and also reading books, and also by discussing among the students. Tat chintanam, tat kathanam, anyonyam tat prabodhanam. Tat chintanam, think about this. Think about means think what is told in the books or in the Sravanam, during the Sravanam, whatever we heard, and analyze it. That is tat chintanam, tat kathanam. Speak about it. And anyonyam tat prabodhanam, discusses among yourself as well as with the Guru. And through that, all doubts are cleared. Vedanta always encourages doubts. Okay? Doubting is not a sin. The only thing Vedanta insists is that the attitude should be healthy. Healthy doubts. Okay. What is healthy doubt? Unhealthy doubt is the Guru and Shastra are wrong. That is unhealthy. The Guru and Shastram is correct, but I have not received it. That is healthy doubt. Okay. Guru and Shastra is correct, but I am not getting it. This problem lies with the reception. The problem lies with me receiving it. There is no problem with the transmission center. Right? So, this way, if we approach a Guru, the Guru will clear all the doubts and Mananam will be over. So, all after listening through Sravanam, after listening, the teaching is understood and there will be a lot of doubts coming up. All doubts are cleared. Then we go to the next state, Nididhyasanam. Right? Nididhyasanam. See, generally all these three happen together only. Okay? It is not that after Sravanam, then Mananam, and then Mananam, then Nididhyasanam. Not like that. But the process is Sravana, Manana, Nididhyasanam. All three will happen together only. Right? Together in the sense, when you are listening, you will have doubt, you clear the doubt, and then you dwell upon it. Again you listen. Again there will be no doubts. Again you contemplate like that. All doubts are cleared. Okay. Then we say Nididhyasanam. What is Nididhyasanam? Tatparyartha Anusandhanam. Dwelling upon the central teaching. Okay. So this Nididhyasanam, the physical posture is not relevant, it is irrelevant. But if you are particular about your posture, yogic posture also is accepted. Proper time, proper asanas, proper posture, etc. All steps are explained in the 6th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Ashtanga Yoga, etc. All that can be definitely used. But what to remember is, physical posture is not relevant. Right? While walking, while doing other jobs, other whatever you are doing, along with that, we can always dwell upon the teaching. Right? When all doubts are cleared, we can dwell upon the teaching. That also is Nididhyasanam. As Sureshwaracharya said, Sravanam is another method of Nididhyasanam. We can listen to Sravanam again and again and again. That itself is Nididhyasanam. Sureshwaracharya said, that we explained in the last class. Then, what happens during Nididhyasanam? Nididhyasanam removes the obstacles. Right? It is because, see, when we listen after Sravanam and Mananam, when the doubts are cleared, the Jnana Phalam, what is the Jnana Phalam? Peace of mind. Right? That is the Jnana Phalam. Right? Shanti. If it is not obtained, then the problem is there is obstacle in the line. Like how water is there in the water tank, but when you open the tap, no water is coming because there is some obstruction in the line. There is no problem with the tap. There is no problem with the tank or water there. There is water. The tap is also open, but there is some obstruction. We have to clear the obstruction. That obstruction is the lack of sadhana chatushtaya sampatti. Like nitya nitya vastu vivegam, vairagyam, shamadhi shatka sampatti, and mumukshutvam. These are the sadhana chatushtayam which we lack. So that is acquired by the process of Nididhyasanam. So Nididhyasanam is not producing jnana. Nididhyasanam removes the obstacles. Right? All the pradibandham is removed. So this is the jnana phalam. This is the removal of obstruction. How do we know that whether we are progressing in the right path or not? One Swamiji said beautifully, he termed it as FIR. Swami Paramarthananda coined this term. FIR. Frequency, intensity, recovery time. You observe whether this FIR is coming down. Okay. FIR is not the first investigation report in a police station. No. Here it is. FIR means frequency of disturbance, intensity of the disturbance, and the recovery time. Okay. When someone is disturbed, how much time we recover from that. If this FIR is coming down, that is the indication that Nididhyasanam is working. Right? So, in a case of a common man, before Nididhyasanam or that, generally disturbed, I mean most of the time is disturbed mind, once in a while we are at peace. When this frequency reduces, then what will happen is, generally we are at peace, once in a while gets disturbed. That is what when we say the frequency is coming down. Suppose I used to get angry 10 times a day, now it has come down to only once a day or once a week, right? That is the frequency is coming down. Disturbance means need not be only anger. It can be jealousy, it can be any sorts of emotions that disturbs the mind, right? So if that frequency is coming down, yes, we are progressing. Then intensity. How intensity of the disturbance here is, there is a reduction in intensity also. How do we know that? If the intensity is high, right, there will be mental, physical and verbal. All three will be disturbed, right? Then as we progress, what will happen? The physical disturbances slowly vanishes and it will end up in verbal and mental only. See, for example, one example, suppose you get angry. What will happen? When anger takes over, we start using words which we are not supposed to use and the body will be trembling, right? And the lips will be shaking or shivering, eyes will be red. These are the physical expression of an anger. One example, you can associate it with all sorts of disturbances, right? Maybe you raise your hand to beat someone. All this will happen because you become physical. Then when this intensity comes down, the physical is totally gone. Then only verbal and only mental. Then slowly even the verbal also stops. When the verbal also stops, what will happen? Others are at peace. When there is no physically it's not expressing, verbally also it is not expressing, that means others don't know that you got angry. That much safe, that much better, right? Otherwise, if we say something, yeah, action has come out, it will have a reaction one day. Action will have a reaction. That is what we call it as karma will come back. So, physical is gone, verbal is all gone, then only mental disturbance only is there. That also will be removed slowly, right? That also will be removed. When that also completely gone, there is no mental disturbance, there is no physical disturbance, there is no verbal disturbance, then that individual is called, when that is 100%, right? When it becomes 100% with jnanam, that individual will slowly disassociate with the notion that I am this mind. So disconnection from the mind. Okay. So through nididhyasanam, because of jnana phalam, the mind will be calmer, the mind will become sweet. Next step is disassociation with the mind. I am not the mind at all. Let the mind get disturbed or let the mind be sweet, doesn't matter. That doesn't mean that the mind will get disturbed. Okay, please don't think like that way. But what will happen is disassociation, disconnection, delinking with the mind will further reduce FIR. It will further reduce FIR, right? Mean frequency, intensity, and recovery time. Recovery time I didn't explain. Recovery time is suppose one gets disturbed, that disturbance stays for some days, some months. Some people carry even till death. I did not talk to my father for so many years. I did not talk to my brother or sister or somebody. This is carrying it for long time. This is the recovery time is so long. It will carry to the next Janma also. It's not like that. Recovery time, it should reduce to few minutes, few seconds. That means you got disturbed, next moment you are normal. So that is the reduction in the recovery time. So we have to constantly observe, alert about this FIR. Whether it is coming down, definitely we are in the right track. Okay, coming back to the point, when we disassociate, delink with the mind, I am not the mind at all, right? So let the mind continue or let the mind merge with the universe or let the mind get disturbed. I am not worried because I have no connection with the mind. Right? This disassociation is Jivan Mukti. It is the Jivan Mukti and ends up in Jivan Mukti and Videha Mukti. Okay? So like that, Sravana, Manana, Nididhyasanam, Vidyaranya Swami explained in the fourth portion from 31 to 64. Then the last 65th verse, Vidyaranya Swami says, in this manner, one should go through the Sravana, Manana, Nididhyasanam and enjoy Jivan Mukti and Videha Mukti. With this, Vidyaranya Swami concluded the first chapter and we also stop here. And next class onwards, we will be starting with the second chapter, Panchadasi Viveka Prakaranam. Okay, we'll stop here. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Harihi Om Tat Sat Brahmarpanamastu.